I really do not like my life now, do I? Hey guys, it's Samus the Best, and welcome back to another video. This time we're going to be going over the top 10 worst minigames in Mario Party 1. And you bet I'm not excited for this. So let's get this video over with, shall we? I think we shall. Number 10.
I see a lot of sports injuries, but not a lot to the tongue. Can you tell me how you hurt yourself? I declare some more.
At Ortho Central, we treat all injuries, big and small, because it's in our bones to take care of yours.
Shell Game. Once again, credits for Nintendo movies for doing really well at these minigames and for providing videos. Anyways, for Shell Game, you are trying to keep track of the right Koopa who has the coins. If you pick correctly, you get the coins. If you don't, well, you just don't. Anyways, what makes this minigame really atrocious and bad is the fact of how stupidly easy it is to track the right Koopa. With the coins. The fact that even the Koopa spin kind of fast and all that, and it is still easy to keep track of where the right Koopa is, it's just not very fun. And just honestly makes the minigame a bit more boring than it should be. Maybe I'm just biased, but I just don't really enjoy that minigame. Anyways, we're moving on. Number 9. Pipe Maze. In Pipe Maze, one player is picking a pipe to where the treasure chest is going to go. If the player chooses right, they get the coins. If they choose wrong, someone else gets the coins. Now, this minigame has several problems of its own. For one, it's not even really a 1 versus 3 minigame. That may just be a minor nitpick, but when you make a minigame a 1v3 and it isn't truly a 1 versus 3 minigame, there's just some that just doesn't really work that well. Also, it is very hard to track which pipe is the right, and computer players will easily get the right pipe no matter what. I swear to Lord, the computers are absolute cheapskates in here. Yes, I said cheapskates. Okay, that may have just been a bad pun, but yeah, I just never really liked this minigame, so let's move on. Number 8.
On the road with T-Mobile 5G.
Limbo Dance. In Limbo Dance, you must time your A presses to go underneath the bars. If you press A too many times or you hit a bar, you fall over and you lose coins. Now, the thing with this minigame is that it's just simply not enjoyable to play in the slightest.
Finish!
Why? Well, honestly, it's simple. Because timing your A presses is just simply not enjoyable in the slightest. You have to hit A so many times to go under the red one successfully. So that means you may or may not have a great chance of falling over by the time the minigame starts to end. Yeah, this minigame sucks, so let's move on. Number 7. Gateboard Scamper. In this minigame, you must tap the B button repeatedly while pressing the A button to jump. Whoever makes it to the end first wins. There will also be coin bags for you to collect on your way. Now, one thing for sure, the problem with this minigame, it's not only bad, but, well, you'll see, the controls just don't seem right, if that kind of makes sense. Also, it is random at the end to who wins the minigame, because computers and other players will make it to the end despite you mashing B a whole crap ton of times, because the game works like that, which shouldn't be the case, but it is. So that's why Gateboard Scamper is on the worst list. Number 6. Box Mountain Mayhem. In this minigame, you are destroying boxes. Whichever boxes have coins, you will get. But if you pick a box with a trippy face on it, you go flying backwards with your chance of not getting any more coins. Now, one thing for sure, this minigame is incredibly luck-based. Now, while luck-based minigames aren't always terrible by any means, in fact, there are some that can be really enjoyable. For example, like Bowser's Big Blast, or Death Hands, depending on your view. This minigame, however, is really unenjoyable due to how simply not fun it is to play. Now, while you may say same for other minigames on this list, at least the others actually have some sort of other enjoyment value to it. This one just doesn't seem to be... It's just chaotic. Let's just put it that. But at least it's better than some of the other minigames on this list, but that's not saying much. Number 5. Bash and Cash. In this minigame, 3 people are smacking the single player who is in a Bowser suit. If the team of 3 successfully hit the single player, they knock coins out of them, and they have a chance on stealing those coins from the single player. Now, the problem with this minigame? Well, honestly, for one, it shouldn't be a surprise that this minigame is on this list for the top 10 worst minigames in Mario Party 1. Let's see the problems in this minigame. The single player in the Bowser suit moves too slow, so the team of 3 have a great chance of getting a single player hit, or other words, the single players, the team of 3 successfully hitting the single player. And even if you do manage, excuse me, and maybe even if you do manage to avoid the team of 3 the first time, well, good luck trying to avoid them again, because the chances of that happening are very slim, due to how unbearably unbalanced the minigame is. Number 4, Piranhas Pursuit. In this minigame, the single player is getting through a series of obstacles while the team of 3 are trying to water the piranha plant. If the piranha plant catches a single player, the team of 3 win. If the single player manages to not get caught by the piranha plant, the single player wins. Now, this is another minigame, honestly, no one is surprised is on this list. let's go over the problem with the minigame. It is strictly unbalanced towards a team of 3. Seriously, even if the single player manages to trip over a couple of rocks or logs, they'll still pretty much have a chance at winning. The only way if the team of 3 is simply going to win this minigame is if the single player is simply an idiot, a computer, or they just lose on purpose. That's it. That's the entire minigame for you. Overall, we just have a really unbalanced, boring 1 versus 3 minigame. Now, taking a 4-player minigame, putting it as a 1 versus 3 minigame, fine. That's an interesting idea. Taking a 4-player minigame and converting it to an unbalanced 1 versus 3 minigame, however, is a whole nother story. Also, how on earth did this minigame even make it to the top 100 in Superstars, despite how incredibly unbalanced it is? Number 3, Paddle Battle. You know, the original Mario Party had a control stick, had a mechanic that was so bad that it was never used in future games. Now, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm sure someone else knows. Control stick rotating. Oh yeah, that's right. The control stick spinning minigames. The minigames that have been highly despised and controversial by many gamers. Now, one thing for sure, with the stick rotating games, they cause major pain towards families and children, both. With the stick rotating minigames, you had to rotate a plastic control stick. Now, due to the N64 analog stick, this will cause many injuries. In fact, these minigames have caused Nintendo to be sued, which Nintendo lost the lawsuit, no surprise there. So Nintendo had to lend out gloves to all people that had the original Mario Party, and this mechanic was never returned in future games, except Top 100 and Superstars. But we'll get to those eventually, just not right now. Now, while Paddle Battle may certainly be the least bad of the god-awful games, it's simply not an enjoyable one either. Number 2. Pedal Power. In this minigame, like with Paddle Bow, you must rotate the control stick with the palm of your hand. It's different though, because a single player must light up the room. If they successfully lit up the room, they win and get coins. If not, the boo grabs them and they lose. Now, this minigame is like Pow, but you must rotate the stick much harder. I have never won this minigame. I've always been like so close, but never seemed to win because I just wouldn't rotate the stick enough. That may just be because I stuck at the stick spinning game, but you know me, I don't want to leave a hole in my hand. But that's what that minigame requires you to do, which I don't like. Anyways, like with Mario Party 1, before we get, or the best minigames in Mario Party 1 anyways, before we get to number 1, let me give you a dishonorable mention. This time my dishonorable mention goes to Ghost Gas. So, you're pretty much just figuring out which boo is leader. In this case, has the coins. Now, the issue with this minigame, it's easily simple to where the boo is, like with Shell Game and find the Koopa with the chest. And like with Shell Game, this minigame can be horrendously boring. Anyway, on to number 1. Number 1, by no surprise, it's Tug of War. Do I need to explain myself? I don't necessarily think I do. Now in Tug of War, you are rotating the control stick with the palm of your hand to pull the rope. Unlike Paddle Battle or even Pedal Power, you have to spin the stick much faster and much harder. And yeah, this will cause the most injuries as possible. It doesn't help that the timer lasts for 30 minutes. The Bowser variant is much worse because you are at a greater stake at losing a bunch of coins. This minigame sucks, it's terrible. Yeah, that's why Tug of War is the worst minigame in Mario Party 1. And it's actually a contender for the worst minigame in the entire series. However, that's not how I think. What's the worst minigame in this series, I think? Well, we'll get to that later. But for now, the worst minigame in Mario Party 1, like I said a couple of times now, is by no surprise, Tug of War. Oh, that wasn't a pleasant surprise in the slightest, so there you go, my friends. That's it. We're done. Those are the worst minigames in Mario Party 1. God, I'm glad I do not have to go through that again. But, unfortunately, I'm not done with the worst list yet. I still got plenty more games. God help me. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I guess we'll go ahead and do a board ranking now for Mario Party 1. The worst board... Okay. Alright, ranking time. Number 8, Wario's Battle Canyon. Number 7, Bowser's Magma Mountain. Number 6, Eternal Star. Number 5, Luigi's Engine Room. Number 4, Peach's Birthday Cake. Number 3, Yoshi's Tropical Island. Number 2, Mario's Rainbow Castle. And number 1, DK's Jungle Venture. There you go. That's my ranking of the boards in this game. It shouldn't be a surprise that I ranked Wario's Battle Canyon as the worst minigame, or the worst board in Mario Party 1. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I definitely enjoyed doing this. I hope you all enjoyed watching it. I did not enjoy doing this worst list, though. Next time, we'll be moving on to Mario Party 2. A much better received game over the original, and may debatably be the best game in the series. Why? Well, we'll get into that later. Until then, this is Sam is the Best, signing out. Peace out, folks. Be sure to subscribe if you like this video. Or if you don't, if you don't want to subscribe, fine by me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. And hit the notification bell, I guess. But anyways, this is Sam is the Best, signing out. Peace out, folks. Hope you all have a fantastic night. God bless.